Welcome back and thank you for staying with us here at Hot 7 TV. The island continues to inch closer to a state of normalcy as government officials continue to revise the state of emergency protocol where fit and relevant. On Friday, an adjustment was made to the Emergency Powers Disaster COVID-19 Curfew number 9 order, which states that the national curfew will be, as of Monday the 15th of June 2020, 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Currently, the national curfew hours are between 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. The state of emergency is slated to continue until the 30th of September 2020. In other news, the families of individuals who have fallen at the hands of police brutality took to the streets on Friday to take part in the Black Lives Matter rally aimed at ending the scourge of racism and police brutality. The two grieving mothers said enough is enough and that accountability is needed now. St. Lucia has officially joined the rest of the world in standing and kneeling in solidarity of the Black Lives Matter movement, which aims to eradicate the scourge of racism and police brutality. Although the global uprising was sparked by the killing of a black man by a white police officer in Minneapolis, United States, the impact of the killing was felt worldwide as the issues surrounding the case has and continues to resonate in countries across the globe, including right here in St. Lucia. On Friday, June 12th, St. Lucians stood in defiance of police orders which prohibited mass gatherings and took part in a peaceful protest at Constitution Park. Joining them on the day were persons who knew all too well what it felt like to have loved ones taken away from them as a result of police brutality and racism. Persons like the mother of Botham Jean, Alison Jean.
We cannot just believe that we're in St. Lucia and we're untouched. It touched us in September 2018, and it can touch many others who have families in the United States, who have children who have to go to school for study, and who have several other business to do in the United States. So we must show America and the rest of the world that our lives matter, that Black lives matter. We are a predominantly black country, and when we migrate to America, our lives matter. It is time that we break the trend of supremacists, of racism, and of police brutality. But I am also here to demand accountability in St. Lucia for the lives of those who have been taken by police. For Arnold Joseph, whose life was taken on Shote Road. For Shakadan Daniel, who was found hanging in a cell in a police station. For the lives of Kimberly Williams, for the lives of Victor Morris. We have to demand accountability of our police so that we can make St. Lucia a much safer place. Enough is enough.
Jean urged St. Lucians to be less passive and to be collectively proactive rather than reactive when it comes to fighting such injustices. Meanwhile, Mary Williams, who is the mother of Kimberly DeLeon, who was murdered on the night of the 30th of October 2018, said she is angry, sick, tired and frustrated, not just in light of seeking justice for her daughter, but for the sake of seeking justice for all in a peaceful manner.
You name it to show disappointment, this is me. Because, you know, it's about time we stand up as a people and fight for what's ours. Justice is ours and we have to fight for it. We do not need to be breaking show windows and smashing cars and burning cars for us to get what's ours. We can do it peacefully, and that's what we are asking for. Peaceful protests to get our justice. We deserve it.
Williams said to date, she feels like her daughter's case has been placed on the back burner as she is seeing no steps being taken towards bringing her daughter's killer to justice. She said more protests of this nature are needed. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez. Chief Environmental Health Officer Mr. Parker Ragnanan has issued a statement reminding the nation of the existing Public Health Act. In the statement, the CEHO details the many stipulations surrounding the Act, as well as why it is important to stick to the guidelines.
The Public Health Act came into force in 1975, and thereafter the following regulations were enacted under this Act. The Nuisance Regulation, SI 10 of 1978, the Offensive Trades Regulation, SI 11 of 1978, Communicable and Notifiable Disease Statutory Instrument Number 12 of 1978, Barbershop Regulations, SI 13 of 1978, Water Quality Control, SI 14 of 1978, Apartments, Guest Houses, Hotels, SI number 15 of 1978 and amended in 1983. Swimming Pools Regulation, SI 16 of 1978, Notifications of Births, SI 17 of 1978, Bakeries Regulation, SI 18 of 1978, Transportation of Human Remains, SI 19 of 1978, Barracks and Tenements, SI 20 of 1978, Disposable of Offensive Matter, SI 21 of 1978, Sewage and Disposable of Sewage and Liquid Industrial Waste Works, SI 22 of 1978, Slaughterhouse Regulation, SI 69 of 1980, the Food Regulation, SI 70 of 1980. Given this changing environment and increased demands, the Ministry of Health and Wellness have been actively pursuing the amendment of both the Public Health Act and regulations over the past 10 to 15 years. During that period, there were extensive consultation with a wide cross-sector of society and major stakeholders, which guided the preparation of the final document. These efforts were finally realized in July 2019 when the Public Health Act was amended and made provisions that include but not limited to the following areas: beauty and wellness center, spa, massage parlor, body art facility, prohibiting or restricting the smoke from tobacco or tobacco products in public places. In February 2020, amendments to all the regulations outlined above were enacted. The revised legislation made provision for greater enforcement capability for key public health issues that are relevant and current in the development of the country. Under ideal conditions, regulations should be reviewed and amended at least every 10 years to ensure they are relevant to a changing environment and they allow for adequate enforcement. However, neither the Public Health Act nor enabling regulations have had any substantial review and amendment over the past 40 plus years. During this extended period, there have been extensive changes to the developmental landscape of St. Lucia, resulting in major environmental impacts that adversely affects the health and well-being of the population. Also, St. Lucia has signed on to a number of international treaties, including the World Trade Organization, International Health Regulations, the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, the emergence of new infectious diseases over the years, such as H1N1 and Ebola, has placed increased burden in ensuring management measures are in place to control the spread of these diseases. Further, the demands being placed on the Ministry of Health continue to amass, and there is high expectation by the public that there will be adequate response and resolution to their needs. With regards to the nuisance and offensive and hazardous trade regulations, the Environmental Division have registered approximately 2,045 public health complaints over the past 5 years. The nature of the majority of these complaints lodged by the public have to do with the following: odor nuisance, wastewater disposal, solid waste disposal, air pollution, vectors including mosquito and rodent nuisances, animal rearing, pig pens and chicken coops, dog kennels, overhanging trees and vegetation, charcoal pit, mold growth, occupational health and safety, bedbug infestation, noise pollution, defective septic tanks, food handling, derelict vehicles, smoke pollution, excreta disposal, and dead animals. There has also been a significant increase in the number of trades which are categorized as offensive trades under the Public Health Act. The amendments are meant to address public health impacts of such trade in residential and highly populated areas. The public health impacts from many of these trades continue to create nuisances that adversely impact the health of citizens, including vulnerable individuals with pre-existing medical conditions. Moreover, the regulation seeks to create a balance where such trades can be carried out in a manner that will minimize the impact on public health, taking into consideration that there is no clear-cut zoning, as most areas contain mixed-use land development in St. Lucia. The spraying of vehicles, animal rearing, charcoal making, for example, in residential areas, where the operators do not have adequate facilities to contain the hazards emanating from their operation, continue to adversely affect the health of residents in these areas. This has resulted in the Ministry of Health being inundated with complaints. It is noteworthy that these activities have not only been the subject of many public health complaints, they have also proven to be extremely difficult to regulate and resolve. Therefore, the amendment has brought these activities under a legislative framework and allow for greater capability to enforce, thereby reducing the health impacts to employees and persons living in close proximity to these operations. It is clearly stated in the Offensive Trade Regulation of 1978, Section 3, that 1, a person shall not establish an offensive trade without first making application to the Public Health Board. An application shall be in writing stating 1, the name and address of the person responsible for carrying on this offensive trade, the nature of such trade, and the address of the proposed premises. The Public Health Board or the Board of Public Health, before issuing a license, shall cause the premise to be examined. Therefore, the amended Offensive and Hazardous Trade Regulations, SI 80 of 2020, now strengthens the above stated position.
A massive thank you is being sent out to blood donors in commemoration of World Blood Donation Day, which will be observed on Sunday, June 14th. Senior medical technologist at the St. Lucia Blood Bank, Karen Louis, speaks on the importance of the process and highlights the never-ending need for blood.
St. Lucia joins countries around the world in the observance of World Blood Donor Day, celebrated on June 14th, under the theme, Safe Blood Saves Lives, with the slogan, Give Blood and Make the World a Healthier Place. The need for safe blood is universal. Blood transfusions do not discriminate against race, religion, or social status. A decision to donate blood is a decision to save a life. The occasion serves to thank our voluntary unpaid blood donors for their life-saving gift of blood, inspire persons who have never donated to start donating, and to highlight and encourage the need for committed year-round blood donations as a means of creating a strong yet sustainable national blood supply that is sufficient to meet the needs of all patients requiring a transfusion. The COVID-19 pandemic has placed a greater strain on the available blood supply, thus blood donations are needed now more than ever. Giving blood is an act of solidarity, and COVID-19 does not prevent us from doing our part. World Blood Donor Day is more than just a day. It is a celebration of life by giving the gift of life.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. We'll be right back.